Okay, long time no see. Critical Discussions, episode 26. And in this episode, I just want to quickly go through certain things that have happened in the past, however many days and weeks I have not made an episode. And obviously, quite a lot of things have happened. One very big and notable thing, obviously, that now Israel is at war with Hamas, essentially. So there's not one sort of well, more or less, okay, one big war is going on, but then also one very much war of Israel against Hamas that's on the minds of people, and that's sort of in the overall sort of media sphere as well. And I understand that it's been already 2 months since it happened, and indeed, I think today is 63rd day. I'm recording this on 6th of December 2023. Recording, streaming it. I think it is 63rd first day of Israel's, in this case, really special operation against Hamas. Because I'm saying special operations because Russia calls their war special operation, which it is not. It is an actual war. And today is also, I think, 651st, 651, I think, day of the war of Russia against Ukraine, which are all very horrendous things. And I didn't really have a lot of things for this episode, and I was just going sort of through the news just so I could get some sort of info going on. And it's just so sad to look at everything that's going on. And I'm reading things for this particular episode. I'm reading things in Russian language, so about Russia, about Ukraine, but from Russian perspective, what kind of a shit they are putting out into the world. And it sound like I'm reading headlines of news articles, things like that, and it feels to me like this is some sort of a mental institution, and I'm trapped in a mental institution because and around me there's just absolutely mentally ill, mentally incapacitated people, because the headlines are just complete insanity, and it's just trash and just garbage. And this is the reason why I haven't done sort of the episode in a long while, because I just got tired of it all. I just needed to sort of get out of the headspace of reading and watching the news about death and destruction, and how everything is going to shit, essentially, day after day after day. So yeah, but here we are, we're back at it, and yeah, let's just go through a few. Let's just go let's just go for a few articles and quick news sort of updates, things like that. Let's just start with something totally fucking absurd and fucked up. Just social media, essentially. YouTube has blocked FBK. This is the anti-corruption foundation of Alexei Navalny, essentially people who are making investigation into Russian corruption, into Russian oligarchs, into Putin, and so on and so forth, right? So YouTube has blocked the video, which is I think probably one of the most viewed on Alexei Navalny YouTube channel, is the Secrets of Scheherazade. Scheherazade is the yacht, Putin's yacht, that costs I don't know, I don't understand how many. It's 75 billion rubles, which is $1 billion, something like that. Some around that. It's crazy, insane amount of money, and Navalny's team essentially was able to kind of prove that this is indeed Putin's yacht and so on and so forth. I understand, like, right now the war is going on, so it's not like this is like the top priority, although the corruption leads to corruption everywhere, and eventually it leads to corruption in terms of like you can't elect anybody, and then in the end it all sort of turns into dictatorship, totalitarianism, and then into wars. So indeed it kind of makes sense to investigate this kind of stuff and so on and so forth, but whatever. The point is that YouTube has blocked so somebody did report this video, and then somebody at YouTube actually sat down, watched the video, and was able to conclude that indeed this video is sort of violates the YouTube's policies in terms of harassment guidelines, which is fucking insane. First of all, how can you fucking do this when it comes to like a super public figure? Like, if you've proven the corruption of a highly, this is not like a private person, this is a public person. If you and this is not just a public person, this is a head of the state that started the fucking bloodiest war since the World War fucking II. How can you say that you must now like remove the video? You can read it basically. You remove the video, audio, track, icons, whatever that sort of includes confidential information, which is fucking absurd. I will include this the link to this tweet, and obviously you can translate it in one click. But yeah, it's insane. It's fucking bonkers. It's just I'm perplexed. I'm like speechless that this can happen in 2020 fucking free. After this video have been around for, I don't know how long, probably like a year, maybe even 2 years. Definitely, it wasn't released yesterday. Let's put it that way. So there's that big fucking L for YouTube. Big fucking L, like giant L. This is insanity. This is fucking insanity that they actually pulled that shit. So from one amazing fucking social media, let's just quickly talk about Twitter. That European Union said that Twitter is the main source of Russian misinformation, basically, where it's like spreads the most, which you can see all the fucking time, because for how much like Elon Musk sort of, fucking pats himself on the back that he is this advocate for being a connoisseur of free speech. No, his free speech consists of fucking deranged misinformation and all sorts of fucking garbage, pro-Russian propaganda, or like anti-Western propaganda, shit like that. So, yeah, great fucking job on Twitter, which is interesting, right? Because, and we're continuing to go, essentially, we're continuing to talk about Twitter right now. That Twitter actually deleted about like 100 of accounts sort of that were linked to Hamas, which is interesting. Deleted or marked thousands of posts that were essentially sort of against the rules, essentially, right? And yeah, so they do have some sort of moderation team still there, which I don't know really, like how the fuck do they have them, and they kind of act again, like act accordingly to what they supposed to do and remove like fucking brain dead content and shit like that. when it comes to Hamas, but when it comes to Russia, not really. But again, I'm going to include this so you can sort of read a little bit more about this kind of stuff. However, not however, but then like on the other side again, going through social media stuff. Telegram, like I guess a lot of people using Telegram right now. Durov, who is the head of this company, so on and so forth, actually declined or decided not to block the Hamas's channel, which is in fucking sane. In fucking sane. And basically he said that Hamas used the Telegram account to warn basically civilians of Ashkelon. I don't really know what that is. The region, I guess, in Gaza. Hamas used the Telegram to warn civilians, essentially, to get out of that region before the rocket strikes. I'm assuming by Israel. However, what's interesting, obviously, is that nothing of that would have happened if Hamas didn't start the fucking bloody shit against the whole attack against Israel. So they started it, they provoked all of that, and then they're using Telegram to warn people to leave that area. Fucking insanity. And the fact that, yeah, essentially, pieces of shit fucking organizations can and do use the social medias while, again, I mean, I understand it's not the same, but like while investigative journalists are doing their job and their content is being blocked. I understand it's different platforms, but it's insane. It's perplexing. I am like, yeah, I didn't pay attention, like I've said at the beginning, to most of it all, and I was happier, to be honest, because yeah, this is just insane. This is just crazy fucking world. So yeah. One very quick sort of news that I understand it, like it's just again like Iran was appointed. It was in November 2nd, 3rd, somewhere there. Iran was appointed to chair United Nations rights meeting. It's and rights meaning like human rights council meeting. Iran again. We are living in some sort of like insane simulation. Iran, well, like one of the most notoriously fucking shit country in terms of human rights violations and just in general human rights point, just full stop there, was appointed as United Nations Human Rights Council. Yes, it was like for a day or two-day meeting it was. And it was like the Ali Bahraini, I guess, Iran's ambassador to the UN, was the only person I met. Like, again, how is this fucking organization doing its job, or what? It's not doing its job, but obviously, like, how they exist, what the fuck they're doing, if the only person nominated is fucking Iran's ambassador? Where are other people? What the fuck is this shit? This is fucking insane. Again, we're living in some sort of insane simulation where this can exist. This is stupid. This is fucking dumb. It's perplexing. Again, like it's enraging. It's brain dead. It's all of those things. So yeah, just wanted to point that out, just for the sake of the history, essentially, that this happened. United Nations is a fucking joke at this point. A fucking joke. So yeah, there's that. In other better news, European Commission says Ukraine is ready to start a process of joining. Obviously, it's not gonna happen probably anytime soon. It's not gonna happen um, until the war is over. But I think like when the war will be over, when Ukraine will actually free all of its territory, and I don't know obviously when it's gonna happen, next year, the year after, who the fuck knows, especially with everything that braindead fucking Trump MAGA garbage pieces of shit in United States Congress are doing, meaning blocking actual support package to Ukraine, blocking the money that's supposed to go to Ukraine and that Ukraine requires, obviously, and not only the money, like in terms of like shipment of whatever, missiles, tanks, freaking jets, all of those things, obviously, cost money. And yeah, just in general, I like obviously don't know when it's gonna happen, but when the war will be over, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna even then it's not gonna happen like in a whatever, like a year. Probably it's gonna be a process of whatever, at least like 3, 4, 5 years. Who know how long it takes? But the fact that EU sort of kind of inching closer to, I don't know if it's like a carrot in front of Ukraine, or are they genuinely sort of saying that. I don't know, really, like it didn't look way too close into that kind of stuff, but at least the fact that there are talks about it and that they seemingly moving into the right direction, unlike again fucking Congress because of MAGA Trumpist pieces of shit congressmen in US. Here in EU, seemingly it's moving into right direction, which is great because yeah, Ukraine, yeah, this is what they wanted. This is what they're fighting for, to be basically with Europe and not with back to fucking USSR or Russian Empire or whatever garbage shit. So yeah, just wanted to again like acknowledge this for the posterity. All right, and then not to go too far away from sort of social media and shit like that. I don't know if I think I brought a couple of probably of articles, but by Pekka. The Finnish. Is he Finnish or is he Estonian? Finnish or Estonian? I don't know. It feels like it's Finnish something. Pekka Kalionimi, something like that. He's doing this like vatnik soup, which is exactly how it sounds. Like vatnik is basically a Russian term for like a fucking redneck or a moron, basically who believes in like propaganda and shit like that. And soup, you understand that. He's doing these sort of exposés on a lot of people, and kudos to him for doing this on Elon Musk. And I will just include this. But what was interesting is that a lot of when he's done it for Elon Musk, seemingly a lot of like people have experienced likes and shares basically going away. Mine have stayed, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But I did see that mine were also fluctuating. And yes, it was done a long time ago, but I don't think I've talked about it before. But it's interesting how it goes. A person who is so much for free speech and all that shit is probably manipulating this platform. Definitely manipulating this platform to sort of for his own sake and for his own advantages and whatnot. And this is a great read because yeah, it's for I mean people who understand spread of Russian propaganda and misinformation on Twitter, and who have read anything that fucking Musk sort of pushes and peddles, the garbage, insane fucking like just insane shit on that he peddles on this platform. You will not see anything new essentially, and people who are like pro Musk and think that he's the smartest person alive, or some fucking kind of a genius and not just some fucking hack who stumbled into quite a lot of money, and then he made some money. You kind of, you need to have some sort of fucking skill and some sort of brains to not just fuck it all up and like, piss it all away. But just to think that he's some sort of genius, like, I mean, I'm not gonna probably change your mind, and Pekka will not change your mind probably either. But just to read this whole stuff is pretty remarkable. Just like this thing being collected in essentially in one place. Especially his peddling of this garbage fucking piece of shit David Sachs, or which fucking sucks. Fucking so fitting. I swear we're living in some sort of insane simulation. The fact that he has been Musk, that is, the fact that he has been discrediting Bellingcat, which Bellingcat is like one of the best fucking investigative journalism like groups like out there, like just period, full stop, in the world. And just to see like what kind of garbage pieces of shit he meaning Musk kind of retweets or like whatever fucking talks to like Kim.com, another fucking garbage human being, piece of shit, absolute retarded moron, and so on and so forth. Even Tucker Carlson like looks medium compared to fucking Trump, but whatever. I'll include the links to this thread and to everything, because it's worth a read. It's worth a read, and just to kind of understand who this man is. And he is, at best, a fucking braindead moron. At worst, he's a malicious actor who's basically working sort of for Russia by spreading the fucking misinformation, by allowing the Twitter to be, and I'm not calling this shit X because it's Twitter. The fact that this is X everything, like this just shows just how brain dead this person is. You get brand Twitter that is recognizable everywhere across the world, and then you turn it into some shit fucking X. What X? You're so like still sorry about your ex fucking girlfriend or something like that you literally turning one of the most recognizable brand into shit show. This person is a fucking joke. I'm not gonna waste any more time speaking about this piece of shit. So yeah. All right. Just interesting thing when you go to open some websites, they're blocked in Belarus, and you need to use some proxies. And I'm gonna include the link to this particular investigation. That is, it's a really big read, and I understand like probably not a lot of people will read it, because obviously you need to kind of pass it through like Google Translate or something like that. But this is about essentially how Russia hires essentially kids, or like young adults, I guess you could say, but kids often as well, to create drones, the Shahed drones or similar to them, that then fly to Ukraine to bomb Ukraine. And this is something you would read in 1984, that kind of that's sort of like a dystopian nightmare kind of a shit. But this is the reality, and sort of few journalists sort of broke the story because a few people were, or like one person essentially contacted them who actually works there. But which is even more insane is that why sort of they contacted journalists is because they were not happy essentially sort of how much they work, because it's like 12-hour shifts or something like that. So these kids, they were not unhappy that they're creating drones that the Russia will take to send to Ukraine to bring death. They were not happy that they worked 12 hours and essentially like overworked and underpaid, essentially. And this is insane, even from that perspective, that kids, I mean kids, I'm saying kids, it's like some of them are students, so students, you would be what, like 17, 18, 19, right? Like, I mean, it is kids still. I don't think, and there've been like many of those studies that we're talking about development of prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that sort of responsible for decision making, and that it doesn't really fully develops until like the age around like 25 or so. That's why you see a lot of brain dead stupid shit that's been done by younger generation. And by the age that you are 25, you are either dead or you stop making, or like start making less bad decisions, or just stop making bad decisions altogether, or like risky decisions, shit like that. But yeah, I'm gonna include the link for current time to the journalists, actually, like little interview, and to actually like big sort of article about that thing. In another news about the hypocrisy of Baltic countries, apparently two kids of Roman Abramovich, who is one of the wealthiest oligarchs in Russia, and I guess a lot of you might know him as the Chelsea owner. I don't know, did he sell Chelsea already? Whatever. Apparently, yeah, his kids got citizenship of Lithuania, or Litva as it's called in Russian language, and apparently they were sort of helping him to evade like sanctions and whatever, some other stuff. But why I'm framing this exactly that is that, again, Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, but like especially Lithuania, um, they have been blocking sort of, or yeah, denying essentially, or and obviously always talking the big game about like denying regular Russians entry, or like or resident permits and things like that. While if you are wealthy businessman, or if you are kids of wealthy businessmen, he's not a businessman, he's an oligarch. And it's a really important distinction. He didn't really create his own stuff. He just fucking used his connections to essentially extract wherever anything that he could from Russian soil and turn it into fucking profits somewhere, and then buy fucking yachts and everything and hide his capital somewhere outside Russia. So yeah, again, just a little quick article, just again, and that was because of the leak. Actually, journalists got this info because of the leaked documents of offshore services, sort of supplier merit service. So yeah, if not for the leak, we wouldn't even know this apparently. But yeah, it's just interesting how it goes. Just interesting how it goes. Yeah. Well, I kind of touched about the war. Well, special operation that actually Israel is doing right now against Hamas. Um, yeah, some people, well, Hamas obviously captured, taken, took hostages, has taken hostages, about what, like 200, 300 people, something like that. Some of them have been returned. A lot of people have been killed by Hamas, and it's just disgusting. And I'm glad that Israel seemingly doesn't give a fuck anymore what the rest of the world sort of says. Some condemnation that some countries sort of express, and yeah, they seemingly just want to end this shit, end Hamas like completely, whatever it takes, however long it takes. They're just done. That was the last straw, sort of broke the camel's back in terms of like their um, patience, I guess, with them. And yeah, although I want to say, like, I'm not the biggest sort of like um, source of good information about Israel and everything. I don't know the history of the conflict that well, and from what I've seen, from like a few videos of people way smarter than me, they were talking that Benjamin Netanyahu, right, is not a particularly great person, so to speak. And actually, like the previous or one of the I forgot, it was like I think it was like in 2000s. There was a leader in Israel who was actually doing a lot to sort of rectify the relationship not only between sort of um, Palestine, right, and Israel, but also with like Arabic countries at least a bit, so on and so forth. Oh, I forgot the name. I don't think I'm gonna find it right now. Whatever, whatever the name is. And then essentially Netanyahu came and said like, no, fuck everything. We're gonna be sort of doing it all by force. Something along those lines. That's at least what I got from couple videos that I've been watching on this particular stuff, which is, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's not particularly great look. Um, but obviously, what Hamas has done right now, well, not right now, but 2 months ago, is absolutely horrendous. And every fucking moron who supports like fucking free Palestine and all those marches, I was looking at this, especially like fucking these huge marches like across like some bridge in London, right? Or like fucking braindead moronic fucking um, kids, like students at some universities in US or whatever, going and like tearing down um, images, photos of those who have been like captured and who are missing right now, captured by Hamas, and are missing right now, and so on and so forth. Like, and they're tearing down those like posters, right? Or people who've been killed. I was looking at this like, fuck my life. You people are so brain dead. You don't even understand how brain dead you are. And like, you're at the university. Like, you're supposed to be getting smarter than, and seemingly you're getting absolutely fucking like, brain dead. So I don't know if it's like just American universities that completely failing fucking people and are a complete total waste of time. Is it across the whole globe? Well, seemingly, because I've seen those protests in support of Palestine, which is again like, okay, be in support of Palestine. What it has to do with Palestine if it's just right now it's strictly about Hamas and what they're doing? Yeah, support your Palestine. Go there, help them. If you want so much, go live there. Because yeah, otherwise, like, what are you fucking doing, you clowns? What are you fucking doing? It's so disgraceful. Just so disgraceful. It's not like Israel bombing fucking Gaza or West Bank for that matter, whatever, right? it's from those territories the rockets are flying, not from Israel. It's so insane. It is so fucking insane. I mean, it is insane to me how the whole Israel was created and why exactly it's been devised exactly like that. Like, for fuck's sake, if you're creating sort of new country for Jewish people, divide it somehow that wouldn't fucking do that. West Bank and Gaza Strip. Like, do something more manageable, more like clever. I don't know, but yeah. Regardless of the things of like 80 years ago, whatever is going on right now is obviously a tragedy, and tragedy is always like about civilians, right? It's been about civilians in Israel that have been absolutely brutally fucking murdered on the scale of hundreds, if not thousand, something plus hundreds, several hundreds of people, right? And right now, obviously, civilians in Gaza are the ones who suffer the most. The same goes, about the war in Ukraine. The civilians in Ukraine are the ones who suffer the most, and it's tragic. It's fucking tragic. Fucking tragic. Okay. Meanwhile, Putin actually flew somewhere, and it's Saudi Arabia, of course. Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. It just goes to show what kind of countries are pieces of shit countries, because obviously he is in international. Well, he's an international criminal. There is a warrant for him by the international court, right? International Criminal Court, and countries, yeah, who do not care about the international law are, yeah, as such, like Kyrgyzstan, China, Kazakhstan, apparently as well. Even though I thought Kazakhstan is trying to turn away from Russia and towards like Europe, things like that. And then yeah, Saudi Arabia, uh, United Arab Emirates, just the fucking countries, like garbage, just garbage. And what I don't understand is that just the other day I was watching sort of few videos on YouTube about the influencers, giant air quotes, going and, well, some influencers, but also like giant fucking stars like Will Smith and people like that, going into fucking Saudi Arabia or Arab Emirates, wherever. But I think it was mostly about like Saudi Arabia. And sort of, yeah, promoting their garbage, just in general, sort of going there and spending time there, money, and obviously sort of showing with their presence that, they essentially sort of, well, they're content with everything that those countries are doing, and how they're operating, behaving, and things like that. And I just don't fucking understand this. Like, if you have money to go to whatever, like Dubai or fucking who knows where, right? Like, why the fuck would you go there to look at fucking fake shit? To what? Like, what is there that you cannot find in some good country? Like, for crying out loud, right? Like, instead of going into deserts and looking at all that fucking fake garbage, go to a trip like to Paris or whatever. Like, fucking, I don't know, check like into Prague or fuck, I don't know, Norway or something, like somewhere nice. Why the fuck are you going into fucking desert, the fakest shit ever, to this like oil fucking garbage fucking sheikhs and all this kind of pieces of shit who actually fucking murder journalists and in embassies, for fuck's sake, and burn them alive? Well, maybe not alive, but you know what I mean. I'm obviously talking about the, oh, what's the journalist name? Khashoggi, I think, right? Yeah, like, why the fuck would they do this? I mean, in terms of Putin, yeah, I understand, because he literally has like fucking 10 countries that he can go to, um, or like people who would communicate with him. But if you're like influencers and shit like that, or celebrities, my goodness, like, fucking have some, I don't know, have some fucking quality to you. What a fucking bunch of stupid losers. It's fucking insane. Just goes to show, doesn't matter how much money you have, if you don't have any fucking values, you're gonna be just piece of shit with no fucking values that, yeah, goes to dictatorship, fucking totalitarian states, and essentially promotes them with your image and likeness. Fucking morons. Alright, rant over. Just one thing, just so we don't, again, just for the history's sake, just so we don't forget what this war in Ukraine is. 8 years old Roma uh, has underwent 31 operation already, multiple burns, um, head traumas, all that kind of stuff, and it was due to Russian strike on Vinnytsia, and his mother died. Um, the the strike was on medical center, not some fucking whatever like military base or anything like that Russian propaganda always says. Medical center in the center of the city, and now this guy not only severely like damaged till the rest of his life because of obviously the burns and everything, but he doesn't have a mother now. Doesn't have a mother now, and I'm sure like he's doing his best and everything, right? But you can see like going around in like in a mask like that. I mean, if you're not ridiculed right now, internally you understand just like what a horrible fucking shit has happened to you. And I'm glad that he's dancing. I'm glad that because apparently doctors were saying that he might not even be able to walk and everything, right? At least he's got father still, but just so we don't just so we don't forget, just so we always understand what this war is. This is the war, and these are the consequences. Now it's just a father and a severely burned and scarred for life little guy without a mother. I just think that like people sometimes really don't like when they're thinking about just numbers, oh, like, okay, so many people died, whatever, it's just a number, right? But when you look at pictures, at actual pictures, then kind of it brings you back to reality that no, this is not just numbers. Each number is life, someone's life. And so like, yeah, I just wanted to um bring it because yeah, sometimes people lose humanity. And those, like I said before, those pieces of shit, congressmen sitting like fucking MAGA Trumpist garbage human beings who are sitting right now and denying help to Ukraine just because they have their own ambitions or whatever garbage they want to pull off inside of United States. Like apparently it's like about the border dispute or garbage shit, right? They are prolonging this war and they are creating more and more families like this or eliminating families. They're prolonging this whole war that, these two are likely at least to be alive right now, even in a condition like that. But how many people aren't here anymore? So yeah, I just yeah, just wanted to bring this sort of to attention again because it's just super sad. It is super super sad. No, yeah. And sort of while we're here, that was again. It's been already a long time ago, but it was in October. But the fact that it was the small village in Ukraine, Groza, I think, was called, and more than 50 people, more than 50 people were killed in the Russian attack, um, missile attack, right, on a cafe where um, people were essentially um, essentially sort of mourning. I think like 2 or 3 people that died. So they would, you know, they would go into this burial procedures, and then afterwards you would go to some kind of a cafe where you would like sit and eat and talk and remember these people who died. And in turn, Russia just completely obliterated that whole cafe. You can see that there's nothing, there's just rubbles, and killed 50 people, 60, more than 50 people, including a 6 years old child. And yeah, that's insane. And you could see just bodies, severely burned, just like it's just horrific. It's just fucking horrific. They were burying a local soldier, and in turn, all of them are dead now. And some piece of shit, some disgusting garbage piece of shit, pulled the trigger. And it wasn't Putin himself. Some garbage piece of shit calculated the trajectory. Someone pulled the trigger. Someone created that bomb. Somebody delivered that bomb. Rocket, missile, whatever you're gonna call it. And in turn, it's just death. This is what Russia gives to the world. This is what Russia brings to the world. Death and destruction. And I just don't want people to ever forget this. Because it's important. Because it's really fucking important. All right. You know what? I think I'm gonna end it here because no. Okay. No. Let's just absolutely briefly talk about the fact that where was it? Just what's going on in Russia already. That in every fifth region of Russia, there's an epidemic of HIV already, and in Russia anyway. That's, I don't know if it's all over the world like that or not. Epidemic is where the critical number is 1% of the population is carrying this, right? So yeah, in some places it's up to 2%. In some places it's between 1 and 2%. Yeah, and it's linked to a certain extent, or at least like those two events will eventually sort of feed into one another. That Russia has a big deficit of actual treatment, of actual pills for people with HIV. That's obviously either they're gonna die quicker, right, without HIV medication. They're gonna spread HIV even more. I don't know how it's gonna like. I mean, obviously you can spread it even on medication. But yeah, essentially, like you're Putin. You have your yachts and everything. You have your oligarch friends with your yachts, and you have countries around the world who do business with all of those pieces of shit. And yeah, and instead, in your own country, people are dying from HIV, and you don't have even medication for them, but you have money to build bombs to kill absolutely regular civilians in Ukraine. So, yeah, I think we're gonna end here, at least for today. All right, talk to you in the next one. Hopefully, I'm gonna make before New Year, before the end of this year, at least one or two more of these. Yeah, just don't, just remember what the wars are, and don't let your humanity sort of to slip away and be buried under all of the misinformation, Russian propaganda, and all the garbage like that. Just remember who is in the right, who is in the wrong, and yeah, why it really matters to support Ukraine, why it really matters to support Israel, and to support civilians, all over the place, all over the world, because a fucking lot of people are stuck in really, really fucking terrible places. And it doesn't mean that they are bad necessarily, unless they are proven, to be not particularly great people. But before that, we should all presume that everybody is good no matter where they are. But yeah, there are a lot of people stuck in really bad places. Be it in fucking North Korea, in China, in many African countries, or even in Russia, or yeah, anywhere really. In Palestine or wherever. Alright. A little bit of a heavy episode, I guess. Okay. Talk to you later. Take care, and yeah, take care of yourselves and people around you. Bye bye.